Inspiration FM. So right now you're listening to the beautiful, beautiful Winifred, and I am not always alone in the studio. I have to emphasize that. Never. My squad are always with me. It's supposed to be a full house. Like I'm sad that I had to tell some girls to chill, but next week expect all my girls. Be ready. But with me today is Valentina. What's up, girl?
I'm good.
How are you? Sorry.
This weather is not weather.
Wait. That means you cannot travel to Yankee. Me that I'm planning to take you there. You are not going anywhere. You stay in Nigeria. I'll go alone. But then, how's your week?
My week was beautiful.
What
my
did
God.
you do?
Had my work.
Oh, work. Okay. I'm glad. This week is going to be my resting week. That's if actually I let myself rest. But then, I'm glad we're moving into the new week.
Yeah,
I'm so glad. So today on the show, we will continue from where we stopped last week. Last week we talked about sexual harassment and abuse. And, I am glad that a lot of people reached out to share their experience on Instagram. People reached out to us on our page, Teen Time with Chichi. So you can just send us a message, Teen Time with Chichi. And today we're going to be opening up the phone lines because we have a guest joining us, an international coach, guys. I do the most. I brought you guys somebody all the way from the UK. He's not in the studio, but then he's going to be talking to us today. So we're going to be opening up the phone lines and you'll get to call in and ask your questions. So last week, I know we channeled our discussion towards parents being watchful with their children, around friends, around relatives, because of things happening in the society. But this week, we're actually, the discussion is going to be based on students now, abuse in school. Because during the week, we saw on Instagram that a whole lot of students from UniU came out to protest against a certain lecturer that has been sexually harassing them. And it's also heartbreaking because I also have that experience.
Every student.
Every student.
Every female student, you will definitely experience it.
Yes, and I'm just glad to have Pastor Emmanuel join us this morning. Hello, Pastor Emmanuel.
Hello, so good to see you. So good to hear from you all today.
Okay. So glad to have you in the studio, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. And you?
We're fine. Thank you for joining us.
Thank
so we have Pastor Emmanuel Nwamu. Did I get your name right?
One more.
So he's a teens pastor, mentor, rehabilitator, counselor, and a father to thousands of teenagers within Nigeria, and with 16 years experience in the field. So you're incapable, and Sam Pastor Emmanuel have worked with teens across Nigeria and even outside of Nigeria. So we are so glad to have you in the studio. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here today.
So last week we started our discussion talking about sexual abuse and sexual harassment, but we channeled it towards how parents can be watchful with their children around family members, close friends. But today we want to talk about abuse in school. And I know that as a teen coach, you've had a whole lot of teenagers come to you to complain this stuff, because I had this experience in 100 level, getting into school, going to a lecturer's office to submit my assignments, and then the lecturer is telling my friend to go out, I'm the only one, and insisting that if you don't hug me, you will not submit your assignment.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to leave his office and beg my class rep to please help me submit the assignment. And it did not stop there. Again, I entered into the lecturer's office. The way it is, you have to pass through a hall. The secretary was there. This particular lecturer just stopped me and asked the person I was with to go. Go to the lecturer's office that you are going to, but I should wait. And in the presence of this secretary, this man tried to touch me inappropriately. And the woman was just saying she could not do anything. This is an elderly woman. But I don't blame her. I was so vexed that day. And this is me just coming into school. It was heartbreaking. this week we saw students in uni protest over this same behavior. A lecturer sexually harassing students, abusing students in his office, frustrating his project students. That's why a whole lot of female students had to come out and be like, no, the protest is not against the school. Let's get it right. It was just against one particular lecturer. Tell me, how do they deal with this?
Most times, students are frustrated. They are stranded. They don't even know where to run to. They are always, And I would like to tell you, it's not only the female students that get sexually harassed, even the guys also.
True.
I've received reports of guys, talking about female lecturers wanting to sleep with them and all the rest of them, So sometimes they feel stranded. They feel confused. They don't even know what to do. They don't even know who to run to, because sometimes it's so shameful. You don't even know how to talk about it, because sometimes you might want to talk about it.
First time I'm actually talking about this.
Yeah, you might want to talk about it, and the lecturer will tell you something like, "Oh, if I hear this or you want to talk about it, your graduation is tied to my retirement."
Yes,
and everyone wants to graduate. Everyone wants to leave the university. Nobody wants to remain in school. Sometimes people are depressed about it. Living in fear, living in agony, living in regret, living in uncertainties will just becloud these students, and sometimes it has impact on your academics, because you don't even know what next to do. At the moment, and it's quite unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate. I must say, I must say. And this sexual harassment is not just in the universities. I remember when I was in the secondary school, this female lecturer, very beautiful female teacher in my school, was actually sleeping with some boys in my school, So, and the same thing with, when these things just keep on going up and down, it's keep on circulating. If you come to Teen Solution today, you will hear stories like, "Oh, I slept with a teacher, in school, and today I got two of my sisters pregnant." This thing keep on. It's like kind of a chain that keep on regulating over so many abominations going on. So it's very crazy, and we don't have rehabilitation in Nigeria. We don't have good counselors. We don't even have parents that understand the whole plight and want to help you out. No emotional support, nothing. You are just there, Yeah.
I know, sir. One of the essence of this show is that parents are actually listening. That is why we are discussing these topics.
Yeah.
It's not just in uni. I'm giving an example of my school. We've had cases even in Nigeria of students being sexually abused in school, primary school, secondary school.
Yeah.
Now, how can parents step in? What are the signs you think parents should look out for? Because if the abuse is not coming from home now, we're dealing with the part and the aspect that what if this abuse is coming from
the outside?
How can parents step in? What are the signs that they should look out for?
Okay, I must say this: parents should mix up parenting and friendship. When you are your son's or your daughter's friend, he or she can tell you anything.
Sure.
When you're a friend to your son, or you're a friend, like me personally, I can tell my mom anything if I have any problem, because I know I'm not going to be judged. My mom is not going to be shocked or disappointed. She's going to help me with solution. So I'll always want to run to my mom. So, but at that point in time, when you and your child, you are friends with them, and you discover they are becoming isolated, they are becoming depressed, they're becoming sad, sometimes they're even scared of going back to school. I have this cousin of mine. I will give you an example. He came back from school, from ABSU. He was in ABSU, and he said, "Oh, Daddy and Mom, I don't want to go back to school. I don't want to go back to ABSU." The dad was like, "You must go back to that school. You're already in your final year. Are you stupid? You must go back to that school." They don't know all those communications, all those conversations. It's something that should, make out time for you guys to sit down and talk about these issues, So the parents did not want to find out why he didn't want to go back to school. And later on, he even called me and said, "Oh, Pastor, I don't want to go back to my school. I want to just change school. Even if it's to go back to a private university, I would like to go back. I don't feel like going back to school, you know." And you know that year he went back to school, he was killed.
Oh, goodness gracious.
He was killed. That my cousin was killed. And do you know why he was killed? He was just killed because he was dragging a girlfriend. The girlfriend, happens to, would I say, a lecturer who happens to be the head of a particular court group,
Wow.
was also interested in that particular girl. And the guy is just feeling so unsafe, but there was no friendship. Our parents don't have that counseling skills. During those back days, parents have a way of coming early in the morning, on the middle of the night. I want to have this heart to heart talk with you. Conversation is no more there. Everybody is just busy. And it will shock you. It's even worse here in the UK, in the civilized society. Dad is going to work in the morning, mom is going to work in the night. One parent told me, my daughter have not even seen me for the past 1 year. So they wake up in the morning, they have to go to school and all of those. But we forget the fact that.
And they are in the same house.
And they're in the same house. I know the way UK houses are. There are upstairs, there are downstairs, stuff like that. So you can go from downstairs and go to work, wake up in the morning, they go to school. When they're back from school, you're back from your night shift, the wife is going, stuff like that. So at the end of the day, when you discover a change of behavior in your child, parents should learn how to be highly observant. Parents should learn how to be psychological. Parents should learn how to ask good questions, appropriate questions. When we are all growing up, you have this confusion in your mind. Maybe you had something in school or somewhere, but you don't even know who to ask. You don't even know how to tabulate. So nobody come and say, you're not a bad boy, you're not a bad girl, stuff like that. Yeah. Parents should create that atmosphere in the home, that atmosphere that your child, that trust, that I'm going to tell you anything about me. I'm going to share my experience, everything I've experienced so far, but I trust you to guide me and not to judge me. You know what I'm talking about? When I was I will say this, when I was in secondary school, I don't know if you went to a boarding school, but you discover they have this school father, school mother stuff. All right. So, that school father, school mother relationship. So, one of my classmates had a school father who was gay. So the guy was now making effort to sleep with the small boy, and the boy did not agree. So what he did was, he was a prefect. He was now maltreating this boy so bad. He was maltreating this boy so badly. He was dealing with this guy crazily. Do you know what this boy did? This guy that used to be very lively, outgoing, social, he loves making jokes, and the rest of them became very quiet and kind of, how will I call it? A kind of a melancholic kind of person. Yes. But do you know the parents never knew this story, never knew about it until the day the guy raped him.
Oh.
It was not the principal that told the parents, see what happened in school. So it's crazy, parents, and when we talk about parents, it's not just your own child. Your neighbor's child is your child. Today we are talking about our country. It's not really a good place. The politicians are not helping matters. But we forget that these politicians were once teenagers. They were once youths.
Exactly.
If you, Winifred, you're able to mentor someone so well, you're able to parent a child very well, and the person becomes a governor, I believe he will be a different governor. Or he becomes a lecturer, he will be a different lecturer. So that's a little thing I want to talk about, what parents should be doing at the moment,
Oh, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Most of these points, we talked about them last week.
Okay.
Now, when we are saying, watch your children.
Yeah.
You have a child that is not around, like you talk about the child that is in boarding school. A lot of children now, kids go to boarding school. Most of the kids in my church, they are all in boarding school. 9-year-old. You have to be watchful when they get back.
Exactly.
What's their behavior?
Mm-hmm.
If they are now quiet, they don't want to talk to you, try and talk to them. And I know African parents, they are not on this term of being friends.
Exactly.
They don't want to parent you the same way, but I want to remind parents that See, this century is totally different from when you grew up. Like, it's different. When you were growing up, there was no social media. Most of the things now that we have in our faces, you did not have that. You did not have to deal with a lot of temptation that we're dealing with now.
Exactly.
So you have to get close to your children. We can't overemphasize that point. You have to have a mother-child relationship or father-child relationship. We are not leaving the fathers out of this conversation. You have to have this relationship with your children.
Exactly.
And as a teen now, I want you to talk to the young people. What are the signs that they should look out for from either a teacher in school or a lecturer in school, and what should they do when they notice these signs to stay away from such people?
Okay, some of these abuse and some of these harassment start with a talk. When a teacher start asking you, are you still a virgin? Are you still, are you still a virgin?
Or when they ask you, do you have a boyfriend?
Oh, do you have a boyfriend? Have a boy touched your breast before? Just run away, just disappear. Don't even entertain such question. Don't even, in the Bible said that something like, resist the devil and he will flee from you. So many young people are naive to even know when to resist. You understand what I mean? They are so they're so naive. So when they actually think it's a casual joke, some of this will start with a joke. Fine girl, beautiful girl, fine boy. See your chest, see your six pack. Let me see your six packs now. Let me see. Guy, you get more slow, and you're entertaining such jokes. You are getting yourself in trouble. So when some unwanted and stuff jokes comes up, learn to cut it short. Learn to create boundaries as a young person. That's one. Then two, sometimes have good values that people should know. I don't know if that makes sense. When we're in school, when we're in school, there are some girls that don't go to toast. That's it. You don't even imagine it. Even if you want to tell your friends, I want to go and toast this girl. Say they Chris, you won't go toast Virgin Maria, stuff like that. So because these students have come to a point whereby their values are well known to everybody. So many young boys and young girls today, many of the teenagers out there, they don't have good values. You don't stick to your values. Everything takes you, you're just being carried around with every damn thing. You want to be everybody. You want to be everywhere. You don't want to be yourself. So you say you're a Christian, but you're not a good Christian. So you're a Christian, you still do some stuffs, your life is not transparent. That is two. Three, even if you have been harassed in the past, please learn to go get some help. Go and get some help. Go and talk to your counselor. Go and talk to your parents. Go and talk to a mentor. Talk to a pastor. Talk to whoever, senior friend. I would like to say this to some teenagers listening to us today. When I was a young boy, I remember one time our neighbor wanted to sleep with me, we had that kind of, stuff, all these senior aunties trying to touch your penis and stuff, So one thing happened was that I went to church. I have a senior friend who happens to be a medical doctor then, Dr. Awa. So I went to him and I said, so I want to ask you a question. This thing happened to my friend, but it's actually happening to me. Sometimes you should go for knowledge, go for information. Talk with people, be versatile, try to get things down. Don't just be like, I think I know this. Sometimes this harassment is also facilitated more among young people. Your friend will come and be lying, telling you what he did sexually, telling you how he does with this. You think it's true. They're all lying, they're liars.
You just want to feel big.
You don't want to feel big. You just want to talk to impress your fellow friends. But the truth of the matter is that they are not saying the truth. Guy, I slept with one girl last time, 3 hours, 4 hours throughout the night. Guy, stuff like that. And you yourself being so naive, you're not looking for opportunities to explore that information. You get yourself in trouble. 90% of those informations are not true. They are not. Then fourthly is that we young people should learn to choose our friends wisely. You know, we should learn to choose our friends wisely. I always tell my church guys, I would say, can you learn to choose your friends revelationally? In the sense that if you have a friend, learn to pray about them, learn to talk to God about them, learn to be a little bit spiritual about it. Like, learn to study your friends, if that makes sense. You know, so it goes a long way to push away people from you. It goes a long way to attract the right people into your life. So with so doing, you'll be able to cope that up. But if that comes up, please talk to people about it.
Talk to someone.
Talk to someone about it. I once met a teenager who, this thing is more in church. I met this teenager. It's a girl. It was in Abuja. She's doing prostitution. All right. So when I met this girl, she said, I met her. We were like talking because my house was very close to a prostitute center in Abuja in Jabi. So I met her, a very beautiful young girl. She should be around 17, and I was like, "Hey, come. Why you do this kind of job now?" Say, "Pastor, no come again, no. No come again, no." Now, the storyline of this girl was that it was a pastor that pressed her breast. In the pastorage.
I wanted to come to this.
Yes.
Seriously.
It was a pastor.
Pastors are not exempted.
It was a pastor. It's not a stranger on the road, though. A pastor. So this pastor pressed her breast and began to tell her stuff. And before you notice, that was the man that disvirgined her. Before her friends now come and say, "Girl, this is the way they do for Benue State. Nobody, they give him money. Come on, go run and for Abuja, you go get money." And that was it. Do you understand? So, but if when the pastor pressed this breast, she raised an alarm, in society we say whistle blowing. You shouted, you shot him, you shouted, you told people, stop this. I think that girl wouldn't have gotten to that level. Yeah, but when the pastor pressed her breast, you're like, she's okay, it's okay, don't worry. You are not protected. If you feel nobody wants to hear you out, I think human rights in Nigeria is doing a whole lot of job. Go to human rights. Tell them.
Yeah, we just have to commend them.
Yes, they're doing there is one they handled 14 solution. They're doing very good jobs. Go to human rights, tell them. So in so doing, I think you'll be safe. The issue will not really get to that level. Because at the end of the day, it's all about you. The person that abused you, the person that dealt with you will be long gone, go their own way, But
you have to deal with it.
But you have to deal with it. Some of these people today that are not married today is because of sexual harassment. Some of them don't even trust women. Women don't trust men. It's because of all this harassment and abuse. So learn to protect yourself. That's one thing I will have to say about this. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. We don't have time. We don't have time to take your questions. But I think we have a message on WhatsApp.
Okay.
Is this okay? Okay, no. So probably next week we'll have to do this again. But thank you very much, sir. Thank you for answering our question. It was nice having you in the studio. God bless you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.